number 23. So Saaristo is an early substitution. And in comes Olli Tolppanen. A straight swap. Tolppanen also an outfielder.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Pinch hitting for Jussi Saaristo. Number 23, Olli Tolppanen.
So Saaristo unfortunately finishes this game without an at-bat. In comes Olli Tolppanen here in the top of the second. First pitch swinging, it's along the ground, and yet again Torgerson, yet again Fjellvang, yet again 6-3, and the inning is over. We're going to be back with the bottom in just a few.
Fielder, number 1, Bendik Johansen.
So a fine defensive effort there by Norway as Finland scored no runs on no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. 3 groundouts to Stefan Torgerson at short. Up steps the Norwegian right fielder, number 1, Bendik Johansen from the Trondheim Baseball Club, being cheered on in Norway by his clubmates as they watch us live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube through Baseball Ireland, the exclusive home of this European Championship Seapool tournament from the International Baseball Centre at Ashbourne. As Bendik watches ball 2 high. That's in across the thighs for a strike, and Johansen is taken all the way. Again, another patient Norwegian hitter, just waiting and forcing Andres Mena to hit his spots. And there's a shot. Clobbered into the outfield where it's going to be taken in at center by Timo Muro. Calls off his shortstop and makes the play.
Fielder, number 39, Johan Madsen.
So that'll bring up the center fielder, Johan Madsen. Has come into 2 games as a substitute. Has come in as a relief pitcher and is making a start in center field. Left-handed batter watches that one for strike 1. And you feel in the early going with these fastballs coming right down the pipe that they've been told to let Mena throw a strike. That one misses outside. An approach often given by a cautious coach, just not sure that an opposition pitcher is going to find his spots. That one misses as well, so 2-1. So Madsen being rewarded for his patience here in the early going as it swings back to a hitter's count, 2-1. And he slaps that one where it will be caught in foul ground by Timothy Katowski. It's a pop foul ball taken in
Designated hitter,
for the second out by the third baseman.
Andy Johnson.
And it's going to bring back around the leadoff man, Andy Johnson. He led off this ball game with a double for Norway. In the bottom of the first, he scooted over to third on a fielding error on the very same play and was scored. The very next batter, the very next pitch on a sacrifice fly. First pitch swinging. It's along the ground. Katowski gets it. Fires across the diamond with plenty of time, and a good play by Kurvinen prevents an error, and the side is retired. So 1-2-3 go the Norwegians, and we're going to bring the Finns up to bat next.
Still some
Let's go.
National team. The second baseman, number 2, Timo Leary.
So to get the top of the third underway, the Finnish national team send up number 2, Timo Leary, the second baseman. He watches that one in for a strike. And I'm joined in the broadcast booth by, I believe, officially the greatest baseball fan in America. Tom Keefe, welcome to the broadcast booth. How do you do?
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. What a beautiful day, a great ballpark, and watching some really terrific baseball. Life doesn't get any better.
It's fantastic. It's great to have you here because you are, of course, an award-winning fan. You are recognized for your fandom as that one falls in for strike 2. And Leary watches that one way in outside. You are, of course, the founder?
Founder and president.
Founder, president, and the man most associated with the Eddie Goodale Society. And for those of us here in Ireland who don't know much about the history of baseball, the lore of baseball, Eddie Goodale is a very, very special individual. The story of Eddie Goodale is infamous. Tell us in as few words as you can manage it, because he was a small person himself. Give us the small summary of Eddie Goodale's.
Well, it was a short career. It lasted 1 trip to the plate, 4 pitches. He walked, and the next following Monday he was banned for life. But Eddie Goodale is the immortal Eddie Goodale because he is the only fan who ever played in a Major League Baseball game.
The only fan that ever played in a Major League Baseball game. This was with the St. Louis Browns. That one is lined in for seeing eye single out to left field, and Leary is aboard to get the third underway. Eddie Goodale was he a St. Louis Browns fan?
Eddie was actually a Chicago Cubs fan, or Chicago White Sox fan, but he was signed to play for the St. Louis Browns on August 19th, 1951, and he came up as a pinch hitter in the bottom of the the second half of a doubleheader, first inning, and walked into baseball history and immortality that day. And the Eddie Goodale Society is dedicated to keeping his memory alive. Every August 19th, we observe and honor Eddie Goodale Day.
Eddie Goodale Day, August 19th. And so other than that, outside of that, just getting together, socializing, keeping the memory of the shortest Major League Baseball player in history. We have a little bobblehead here. We have no cameras up in the booth, but Eddie Goodale was a small person. He was signed by Vec, the St. Louis Browns owner, and as you say, the following Monday after he walked into history, he walked right out of Major League Baseball as he was banned for life. Vec had done it as a publicity stunt. And what do you do other than keep his memory alive? If you visit the Eddie Goodale Society website, you've got a hell of a website.
Yeah, we have our annual meeting at O'Doherty's Irish Pub in Spokane, Washington. We also have other chapters around the country, including Los Angeles, the Eddie Goodale Pub in Elburn, Illinois, and I'm really happy to announce right here today that a man from Rhode Island that's at this ball game today asked to start a Rhode Island chapter of the Eddie Goodale Society this year. So.
Pickoff move has gotten away into foul ground. Leary's going to make his way up to second at a trot and be held there by his base coach. So he gets up on an error to the pitcher, and that pickoff move is unsuccessful. Katowski at the plate now with the runner in scoring position. The Rhode Island chapter of the Eddie Goodell Society. So what would it take for me to set up the Dublin, Ireland chapter of the Eddie Goodell Society?
We just started it.
Hey,
All right,
brilliant.
we're there.
We're a couple of weeks out from August 19th. Can we start early?
That's right. You can start early and stay late, but we like people to get together. We call it a meeting with short speeches and half-pint beers.
Oh, does it have to be half-pint beers?
You can have more than one, and you can add them
Okay.
up. We won't keep
All right.
count.
We won't keep score.
One of the exciting things about Eddie is that the uniform that he wore belonged to the bat boy of the St. Louis Browns, and that bat boy grew up, Bill DeWitt Jr., to become the owner of the St. Louis Cardinals. And so 2 years ago, on the 65th anniversary of the only 65-pound man to ever play, the Cardinals gave out 30,000 Eddie Goodell bobbleheads. So that was a big jump forward for our fandom.
Massive recognition there, absolutely. And it's great to see his memory honored by the major league team that has sort of inherited the mantle of the St. Louis Browns, the Cardinals. Renowned, of course, for having great fans, but you're a great fan yourself. Tell us a little bit about the award you received for your fandom, as that one is lined out, and it looks like a gapper. Yes, it's down. That is going to score Leary handily from second base. Katowski makes it to second. He's going to turn hard, but be held up there. RBI double for Timothy Katowski, and Finland have another one. They take a 2-1 lead.
Now batting, center fielder.
It's going to bring up Timo Muro. So forgive me, the action got in the way there for just a second, but you were honored for your fandom. You are a fan in the true sense of the word, a baseball fanatic.
Well, I was awarded the Hilda Chester Award by the Baseball Reliquary, and the award is named after the immortal Hilda Chester, a Brooklyn Dodger fan who used to bring a cowbell to the games and ring it and drive the other players crazy for the opposing teams. But each year, a fan who does something special to recognize the fun of baseball gets that award. I was honored to win it. Bill Murray won it a couple of years before I got it.
He is, of course, a Cubs super fan.
Yeah, he is. It was great. Yeah. And so to follow Bill Murray and winning that award was a real honor. But it's just great fun to have an award that recognizes the thing that Bill Veeck recognized about baseball. It's got to be about fun, and it's got to be about the fans. And so that's what I really enjoy about the Eddie Goodell Society, is we're reaffirming all that Bill Veeck stood for and what he did to bring Eddie his moment of fame.
Well, baseball is unique in sports in the way that it does honor the fans. We know, of course, now the story of Eddie Goodell, and we know you and other recipients of the Hilda Award, and that one is clobbered into right field by Timo Muro, where it will drop in for a base hit. And that is going to be a sliding double. He's safe at second base. And that is going to advance Katowski to third. So Timo Muro puts two runners in scoring position for the pitcher, Andres Mena. We also know these great stories of legend about Tessie and Nuff Said McGreevy, the Boston Red Sox fans. And, of course, Take Me Out to the Ball Game that we sing at the seventh inning here. That one is about Katie Casey, who was a fanatic and was baseball mad. Is there another sport that honors its fans like that? There really, over the last 130, 140 years, there's been a special relationship between baseball and our fans.
And what we plan on doing this year is we're going to start an online petition calling on the Commissioner of Baseball to designate August 19th as Eddie Goodell Fan Appreciation Day, because we don't want to lose sight of the fact that it was Eddie's lack of height that kept him out of playing baseball as a kid.
There's a line drive deep. That is way over the fielder's head and back to the fence. Both runs are going to score easily here. Mena's going to get to second base and pull up, and the pitcher helps out his own cause with a 2 RBI double as Finland busts this one open. Andres Mena helps out his own cause there with 2 ribbies on the 2-bagger. He gets up there. And when you look at what Major League Baseball has done, Tom, are they forgetting where the fans are? Because one of the initiatives introduced last year was actually Players Weekend, where rather than honoring the fans had the chance to honor the players even more with nicknames on the jerseys, and the players got to hang out. And are we forgetting how important the fans are to baseball?
Well, you know, when you see the price increases in baseball these days and the huge salaries, baseball has changed a lot, and it's also got competition from a lot of other sports. And so I think baseball for too long has taken its fan base for granted, and that's why I think it would be really useful and helpful for baseball to pick that one day, August 19th, and recognize fans across the board, and recall that there was only one fan that ever got to play. Who among us at this ballpark or in any ballpark in America wouldn't love to be able to say that I got to go up to bat once in the major leagues? Well, Eddie Gaedel actually got to do it, and that's why we think he really stood in there for all of us when he got to play big league baseball.
Absolutely, and unlike many other fans who might get to the plate, Eddie Gaedel, of course, is 0 for 0 with an on-base percentage of 1,000, as that one is right off the second baseman, who recovers well and makes the play. Armando Rodriguez took that one right on his behind, but managed to get a bare hand to it and send it over for the first out of the inning. But in the meanwhile, Mena is going to scoot his way down to third base. That's going to bring up the catcher, Jose Mesa. Of course, Eddie Gaedel is 0 for 0 with an on-base percentage of 1,000. I worry that if I got in there to face Clayton Kershaw or Chris Sale, I might just come out with a broken shin.
Well, and Eddie said he wished he could have batted against Bob Feller, which I'm not sure that would have been the best advice for him to do. But Bob Swift was the catcher, and Bob Kane was the pitcher, and Bob Swift went out and advised Bob Kane, if I were you, I'd pitch him low. But he couldn't get the ball low enough and Eddie walked on 4 straight pitches. But it was a great day for baseball.
There's one on the ground. It's going to score the run, and he's going to be safe as that one is booted by Torgerson. So Jose Mesa gets an RBI, and he reaches on the error by the shortstop. And in comes Mena to score.
Now batting.
And the fourth run is in.
3, Jesse Bove.
Jesse Bove is going to come up with a 1-man out and 1-man on. 5-1 your ball game here in the top of the third. So as far as fans go, and you're here in Ireland, it's a different experience. There's no admission charge at this ballpark. Pickoff move, not successful. It's a different experience. It's maybe a little bit closer to the way baseball was in Eddie's day. How's the experience been for you since you came over here?
Oh, it's been great. The enthusiasm, what Tom Kelly and others have done here has been really fantastic. And baseball is going to slowly but surely work its way into Ireland. I believe young people, given an additional sport opportunity, are going to discover the fun of this sport. It's important to remember that in the early days of baseball in America, probably a third of the Major League Baseball players were Irish immigrants. So Ireland has played a major role in the development of baseball in America, and I think it's time for baseball in America to start playing a major role in the redevelopment of baseball right here in Ireland.
Runner in motion. The throw to second base on the line is offline. Well backed up by Torgerson to prevent an error, and it's a stolen base for the catcher, Jose Mesa. So that runner is now in scoring position for Jesse Bove. This broadcast is sponsored by Foley's New York Bar and Grill, which is the home of the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame. Full of those names that you hinted at there, like King Kelly, Connie Mack, Ed Delahanty, all these Irish Americans. And of course, recently there was a fantastic documentary on Irish television about the 3 O'Neill brothers from Mom Cross in County Galway. Steve O'Neill, one of the greatest hitting catchers of all time, won the World Series as a player and as a manager. And he had 2 brothers also were in the major leagues. In fact, they were a pitcher and catcher for the same team, and they used Gaelic, the Irish language, instead of signs to confuse opposition hitters. So there was a long gap between the last Irish-born player, Joe Cronin, in 1945, and P.J. Conlon this year. Do you think, looking at the standard of the Irish player, that you've seen Ireland play now, you've been out here at the ballpark, you've seen the best we have to offer, do you feel that we'll be many years away from another Irish-born player playing in the major leagues?
I don't really think so, because what I'd really like to see is some more development of baseball at the youth level, because I think that's where you really start building tomorrow's great players.
There is a fly out, and they are going to double off the catcher for the double play, and that is going to end the inning. Tom Keefe, it has been a pleasure to speak to you. We wish the Eddie Gaedel Society the very best of luck. We're going to start the Dublin chapter. I'm going drinking on August 19th anyway.
And the word on the street will be, take a walk, Eddie.
Take a walk, Eddie. Tom Keefe, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're right back after this. Thanks very much. back.
Catcher number 10, Javier Alvarez.
That was Tom Keefe of the Eddie Goodell Society, an absolutely fascinating man, as Javier Alvarez pops that one up on one pitch. Jussi Kurvinen makes the catch at first base. And Norway record a swift first out there. Pop up to the first baseman. If you've just joined our bull game, Finland busted it open in the top of the third. They scored 4 runs on 3 hits, 1 error. They left nobody on base as the catcher was unfortunately doubled off on a fly ball to right field. Torgerson watches that one for a ball. Stefan Torgerson walked and made it as far as third base on his last plate appearance. He has a stolen base to his name. And that one misses 2, so 2 balls and no strikes. So Finland with an outside shot of a championship game appearance. Need to win this one, and they're in a comfortable position now, 5-1 up. Andres Mena dealing. And there is a ground ball. Oh, that is going to be safe. So Torgerson gets himself an infield single. It was a great defensive effort by Jukka Kurvinen to just get a glove to the ball and prevent it being a double, but he couldn't make the throw in time, and Torgerson beats it out. Chris Malch is going to come up with one away and a runner on first. Steps off on a pickoff move. Safe at first. Torgerson has demonstrated that he can run. A good slide to avoid a tag on a high throw that Team O'Leary had to climb the ladder to get. That's in the dirt, but well blocked by Jose Mesa behind the plate. So they have one away on the inning. Big Chris Malch is stepping in, hit by pitch in his last appearance. And another pickoff attempt, and safe. Malch wraps that one. Fair ball up the left field line. Torgerson is going to make it to third. He's going to hold it up there. It's a stand-up double for Chris Malch, and his fine tournament continues. Stand-up double there as Torgerson makes it over to third base.
Now batting, second baseman, number 4.
That's going to bring up Armando Rodriguez, the second baseman, with 2 runners in scoring position and nobody out. And a chance to eat into that 4-run lead. The tying run is on deck in the shape of Emil Fjellvang, but if Rodriguez gets aboard, he can help do some damage. He can swing the bat quite well, and not on that occasion as it's a foul ball. He was all at sea on a breaking ball there from Andres Mena. So if you want to find out more about the 1/8 wonder of the world, the Eddie Goodell Society, visit takeawalkeddie.com. Takeawalkeddie.com. The shortest and lightest player in MLB history. He had a perfect 1,000 OBP. That one's going to fall in. Line drive. Base hit. 1 run scores. Malch is steaming around third. The throw home. Not in time. He slides. 2 RBI single for Armando Rodriguez, and he gets up to second base on the throw. Good heads-up base running, and Norway eat into that one. So that's going to bring up to the plate Emil Fjellvang.
Now batting,
He is the tying run.
6, Emil Fjellvang.
Fjellvang swinging, foul ball, back over the backstop, strike 1. That one's just inside for a ball. Squares the count, 1-1. This broadcast is brought to you by Foley's New York Bar and Grill, home of the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame. Swing and a miss from Fjellvang. And he knows he just should have waited on that one. Big cut out of his shoes for strike 2. So after the 2 RBI single, there's a different pallor to this ball game. It's 5-3. Finland leading Andres Mena on the hill from the stretch. That one's in the dirt for a ball. That fills the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fjellvang is a good hitter, and Mena can afford to be generous. He can pitch around him because there is the open base at first. And sure enough, a high pitch is going to walk him.
Now batting. Left fielder.
That's going to bring up the left fielder, Gunnar Henriksen. Struck out swinging to end the first in his first at-bat. One away here and 2 runners on for Gunnar Henriksen. Swinging at that one, foul ball. He got underneath it. It was a very high pitch. Henriksen clobbers that one into the outfield, where Muro will not make the catch on the long run. The runners were holding up, and they are just going to get one base there as they were tagging up. Gunnar Henriksen with a base hit, and that is going to load the bases for a pinch hitter, Christopher Heimtun. So Chris Heimtun is going to come into the game to replace Johan Madsen, the center fielder.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Pinch hitting here and substituting. Number 19, Christopher Heimtun.
So the bases are loaded for Heimtun. Rodriguez at third, Fjellvang at second, and Gunnar Henriksen at first. Swing and a miss from Heimtun. And a correction that Heimtun is in fact in for Bendik Johansson. That's a strike for strike 2. Johan Madsen is in the on-deck circle. It's Bendik Johansson whose game ends early. He's withdrawn for Christopher Heimtun, the right-handed batter. And that one misses for a ball. In the dirt, skips away, but it's still well blocked by Jose Mesa. Mesa has caught every inning of this ball game that he wasn't pitching himself. He's had a tremendous defensive game as a backstop. Prevented pass balls and wild pitches in 3 games to date. Yeah, it's a strike. 3 called, and Heimtun is out.
Now batting.
That's the second out of the inning, and up comes Johan
Number
Madsen, the center
39,
fielder.
Johan Madsen.
Left-handed batter. All the bases are loaded and 2 men are dead. Norway trail this by 2. Finland in a jam again. And for the second time in 3 innings, Mena has a chance to escape with the bases loaded. As that one's in for a strike at the belt. Madsen skips out of the way of that one. It's a ball. Pops it up on the infield. Mesa and Mena collide, and it's a foul ball. The pitcher called off the catcher called off the pitcher, and in the end, neither of them could grab it, and Johan Madsen has a second life. And if he does reach base, an error will be charged to the pitcher, Andres Mena, as he dropped that one off his glove in foul territory. Hardly his fault, or was it? The priority between pitcher and catcher, that one should normally go to the backstop. Certainly both were shouting loudly, "My ball, my ball, my ball," and neither heard the other. And strike three called, so that error is not going to come back to haunt them. He gets back-to-back strikeouts to escape the bases loaded jam. But Norway score 2 runs on 3 hits. There were 2 strikeouts, and they leave them loaded for the second time. We're going to be right back after this with Finland at bat. Well, we've got a classic in the making here, a Nordic Derby, a Scandinavian grudge match. Finland leading Norway 5-3. They're about to lead off the top of the 4th, and Ville Sarman is going to dig in to face Aiden Blürsche.
Right fielder, Ville Sarman.
So Blürsche from the windup. And the first pitch swinging out to second base. It's along the ground, but a good recovery. Bare hand by Armando Rodriguez beats the slide, and Ville Sarman is a ground out victim for the second time. He's a first out of the inning. And that is going to bring up Olli Tolpanen, who came in as a pinch hitter for UC Saaristo in the second. It was a ground out victim to short.
Now batting, left fielder number 23, Olli Tolpanen.
So on that play, Armando Rodriguez knocked it down with his glove. It went between his legs, but a quick thinking move there. There's another one on the ground. That's out to shortstop to Torgerson. Fires across the diamond, and no! It's another fielding error. Another throwing error for the Norwegians, and that may come back to haunt them as Tolpanen is aboard. And Torgerson has made some fine defensive plays in this tournament, but he's let himself down today with 2 errors. Now Team O'Leary is going to dig in as he watches that one in for a strike. Blürsche has pitched well here, except in the last inning where he got roughed up a little bit. That one's on the ground. It will be a foul ball. So Timo Leary singled in his last at-bat, made it to second on a botch pickup move. That one's on the ground. Bova lets it go. Torgerson throws to second, and it's not in time. That was very deep in the hole. It's going to be another infield single for Timo Leary. And the heads-up base running by Olli Tolpanen.
Now batting third baseman, number 6. Timothy
He's at second base and doesn't force it into a fielder's choice. One away now, and Timothy Katowski's going to bat with 2 men on the base paths. By the time Torgerson got to that one, after it went under the glove of Jesse Bova, it was in deep left field. So, oh, there's a shot deep into center field where Johan Madsen will make the play. Tagging at second base is Tolpanen, and he slides safely into third. So a fly out, but a useful one at that, as the runner will advance.
Center fielder, number 19.
2 outs, runners at the corners for Timo Muro. Doubled in his last at-bat and would come around to score. He watches that breaking ball come in for a strike. Hanging curveball, and Timo smiles and shakes his head, and if he'd have been expecting that one, he knows he could have taken it deep. Time is called. As the infield just communicate what they're going to do in case of a stolen base play. It's common in this position with runners at first and third for the runner at first to go for second to try and tempt the team into a throw that would allow the runner at third to score. But never mind, it's a line drive up the middle, base hit, makes it all academic. Muro has a ribby. That is going to score Tolpanen with great ease. And Muro has a base hit and an RBI.
Now batting number 18.
That's going to bring up the pitcher, Andres Mena. Had that 2 ribby 2-bagger in his last at-bat in the last inning. First pitch swinging, but that's fouled for strike 1. There's a shot to right field. Backpedaling is the right fielder. He's going to make the play, and the side is retired. So that ends the inning, but 1 run scores on 2 base hits, 1 error, and 2 men are left on base. Let's go. So new shooter on the mound for Finland
Number 22,
as Andy Johnson digs in. He had that stand-up double, which he turned into a three-bagger with the help of a fielding error in the first. He would come around to score. He clobbers that one up high. A major league pop-up to right field. And it falls in for a bloop single.
Also announcing a new pitcher for Team Finland, Ville Sarman, number 33.
So Ville Sarman is the new shooter on the bump. He comes in from right field to pitch. Katowski goes from third base to right field. Jesse Buva shunts over from short. And the former pitcher, Andres Mena, is the new shortstop. If you kept up with that, well done. Bloop single for Andy Johnson. Javier Alvarez had a sacrifice fly in the first and popped up to the first baseman in his previous at-bats, and he watches one in for a strike. And a big swing and a miss for strike two. Andy Johnson at first base, the leadoff man, so often a speed threat throughout his long career with the Norway international team, is pretty banged up. That's why he's DHing instead of manning center today. So I think Finland know he's not going to run. He has a very conservative lead at first. Ball in the dirt to Javier Alvarez. So Sarman from the stretch steps off. No lead to speak of for Johnson. He chuckles Riley. He knows he's not going anywhere. Sarman knows he's not going anywhere. And now it's up for a ball. Javier Alvarez puts that one on the ground, but it's a foul ball. And Andy Johnson's going to have to toddle all the way back over to first base. So Ville Sarman has 2 strikes now on Alvarez. And Andy Johnson's in motion. The pitch is a strikeout, and Johnson finds his speed. A stolen base. A tremendous jump from AJ there as he demonstrates that it's not all about the speed in baseball. If you get a good jump, you can have the advantage and get a stolen base. So a strikeout looking for Javier Alvarez. But on the same pitch, Andy Johnson makes his way to second base. It's going to bring up Stefan Torgerson with a runner in scoring position. There's a hard hit ground ball, but it's a foul ball. Oh, there's a shot from Torgerson to the outfield. Johnson isn't tagging, and it's taken out there in left. After the long run by the left fielder Olli Tolpanen. That's going to bring up third baseman Chris Malsh. 1 for 1 with a double and a run scored. He was hit by a pitch in the first. Would be stranded at second in the same inning. Had that big grand salami in his last game. 6-3 your ball game. Spin move, but nobody at second to trap AJ, so he just gets back to the bag. Finland scored one in the top to increase their lead from 5-3 to 6-3. And they're going to put Chris Malch aboard. They're going to have a force at first and second as they issue him the intentional base on balls. And it's going to bring up Armando Rodriguez.
Second baseman, number 4, Armando Rodriguez.
And Rodriguez has a 2 RBI single to his name. He's 1 for 2. He is also popped out to short. And he is a runner in scoring position, but a force at any base. Vila Sarman sends that in, and oh, just misses. Swing and a miss from Rodriguez, strike 1. That's him for strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes now. As Simon is hitting his spots. So 1 and 2, 2 men on, and 2 outs. The runners will be going sharply on contact. And that one is along the ground to Mena. He goes the short way to Leary. And the side is retired. We're going to be back with Finland coming up to bat, trying to extend their lead right after this. Let's go back. And so into the 5th inning we go of this classic ball game, the Nordic Derby here at the International Baseball Center, Game 8 of our European Championship action. Right here at the ballpark at Ashburn. Up comes Jukka Kurvinen to lead off the inning for Finland. Burshu still on the hill for Norway. That one misses for a ball. And a sizable crowd here of neutral support, just here to watch some top quality international baseball. That breaking ball is a beaut, in for a strike. If you're down to the ballpark, don't forget you can check out the best casual dining in Meath and apparently the best chicken wings in Ireland at La Buca on Main Street, Ashburn, or in Ratoath or Dunboyne. Swing and a miss for strike 3 in the dirt. They're going to have to throw down, which they do, to Fjellvang. And that's a strikeout and a 2-3 put out.
Catcher number 15, Jose Mesa.
For the first out. It's going to bring up Jose Mesa. Has grounded out and reached on an error. He has a stolen base to his name. He also has an RBI. As on that error, what would have been the ground out, a run was able to score. And And that one's in the dirt. It skips away. La Buca, best casual dining in Meath. Pizza, pasta, grilled food, best chicken wings in Ireland. labuca.ie. So another ball in the dirt there as it goes to 2-0 on Jose Mesa, the fine finish catcher. And that one's up over the letters. And the count goes to 3-0. That one is in for a strike. Jose Mesa taking all the way on 3-0. Watches that one fall in. Off-speed pitch. Gets the outside corner. And it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Hitters count. And Mesa, watches that one come across. It's at the knees. It's a strike. He thought he had first base. But he is brought back to the plate by home plate umpire Dimitris Karounis. Full count, 3-2. 1 out on the inning already. And Blue Shoe lets that one get clobbered into center field on a line, and a base hit for Mesa. Takes a hard turn, but first is where he will stay.
Now batting. Third baseman.
It's going to bring up the third baseman, Jesse Bova.
Jesse Bove.
And Jose Mesa dug in deep there, kept his cool to work the count. Pickoff move. Safe. First base umpire Peter Brink had to think about it. But safe is the call. And Mesa's got to keep his cool out there. He's got to be as cool as O'Hara's Irish Pale Ale. Crisp, clear, and beautiful. Like a Meath sunset. O'Hara's. Available here at the ballpark. Pickoff move, unsuccessful again. And Jose Mesa's got those hot feet over at first base. That one's in for a ball. And another unsuccessful pickoff move, as they know the speedy Jose Mesa is liable to get running on them. He has a stolen base to his name already. And he's in motion, and the tag is wide. Safe at second base. With a second stolen base is Jose Mesa. And of course, Mesa's hot feet came back to bite him in the behind in the last inning. Well, the last inning he was at bat, rather, in the third inning, when he was in motion to third base when the ball was clobbered to right field, and he was easily doubled off at second. And they're just going to issue the free pass to Bova. Not going to throw to him anymore. They want that force at any base, so the intentional base on balls is given to Jesse Bova, and that's going to bring up the pitcher, Ville Sarman. Sarman has grounded out twice in 2 at-bats. He is 0 for 2. He watches that one in the dirt for ball 1. Pickoff move, but nobody's at second base except the finish base runner. There is a hot shot, but a foul ball down the third base line. And the runners are going to have to retreat. Ethan Blursche on the mound for Norway has had a half-decent game. He's been let down by his defense behind him. Several errors, 3 so far in the ball game. Pickoff move, and nope, he's safe. Says Mladen Pigac, the Slovenian third base umpire. That's in for a strike at the letters. Runner in motion, swing and a miss. The throw to second base. Oh, and the back tag is just not in time. So the double steal works as drawn up as both runners swipe a bag. Jesse Bova takes second. Jose Mesa takes third.
Number 23, Oli.
And Vilas Arman is a swinging strikeout victim on the same pitch. So with 2 men away and 2 in scoring position, Oli Tolpanen is coming up. He reached on an error and would later score and has grounded out in his 2 at-bats. He's 0 for 2 with a run. He fouls that one away for strike 1. Tolpanen swings and misses for strike 2. Strike 3 called, and the side is retired. So, after allowing 2 base runners on the single and the intentional base on balls, young Aiden Blursche strikes out the side. And we're going to be back with the bottom half right after this. So bottom of the 5th here at Ashburn. Norway chasing this game 6-3. And a reminder that you can help the Irish national baseball team chase their dreams through their GoFundMe appeal, which should be appearing on your screens now. The Irish national baseball team's GoFundMe appeal is to help defray the costs of running an amateur international baseball program. including paying for tournament officials, accommodation, food, beverages, paying for travel costs, cultural activities, and all the other things associated with running a strictly amateur baseball program. Swing and a miss for a strike. Emil Fjellvang here, the fine first baseman. Vila Saarman continues on the bump for Finland. They lead this one 6-3. And there's a shot lined out high to center field where Muro will range underneath it and make a one-handed grab. A good catch by Timo Muro. Fjellvang is retired, flies out to center field. And that's going to bring up the left fielder Gunnar Henriksson. Gunnar's 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single in 2 at-bats so far. And that's in for a strike. Swing and a miss for strike 2. That one misses low inside. A ball and 2 strikes now on Gunnar Henriksson. That one's on the ground to the third baseman, Bova. Right across the diamond to Kurvinen. And the first 2 men to come up are sent down. As that's a ground out. And that's going to bring up a replacement for Chris Heimtun. Benji Lassen is going to come into the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitution. Now batting for Team Norway, number 20, Benjamin Lassen.
So Christopher Heimtun is taken out of the game. He came in as a pinch hitter and was replaced on defense. And Benji Lassen's going to take his hacks now, wearing number 20 for the Kingdom of Norway. Vilas Arman goes to his stretch. He's more comfortable pitching out of it, even without runners on base. And that one is indeed in for a strike. That one misses outside. Squares the count at 1-1. There is a foul ball from Benji Lassen, who looks a little like LA Dodgers standout player Justin Turner down there. I suppose if you're Norwegian, he just looks like one of your ancestors. Maybe one of the founders of the Viking city of Dublin. There's a shot out to the outfield. Muro's going to have to come a long way to get it, but get it he does, and the side is retired. 2 flyouts to Muro. Either side of a ground out to third base. And 1, 2, 3 go the Norwegians. Finland coming up to bat right after this. Bring me
For
back.
the Finnish national team, second baseman number 2, Timo Leary.
So as we begin the 6th, Timo Leary's going to dig in. Finland leading this one 6-3, and a new shooter on the mound for the Kingdom of Norway. It's Alexander Nielsen. And Nielsen from his windup sends that one in, and it is a ball outside. And a high ball there for 2-0. That's in for a strike. Goes to 2-1. Alex Nielsen on the bump for Norway is a dedicated servant of the Norwegian Baseball Federation. I met him when he was serving his term as president, when he came to Dublin, Ireland for the CEB conference. A tremendously dedicated man, completely committed to improving the spread of baseball in Norway. And it helps that he's got a good arm and can hit his spots, can paint the corner with a changeup as well. So Leary will continue at 2-1. And that one is high and inside. Leary gets the bat down out of the way to avoid a foul ball. 3-1 the count now. And a foul ball. That'll fill the count 3-2. Payoff pitch from Nielsen is a ball high, and Leary draws a walk. First base runner for Finland of the inning.
Now batting, right fielder number 6.
That's going to bring up the leadoff man, Timothy Katowski, who has been in right field for the last couple of innings. One misses outside.
Someone has chained their bicycle to the nets outside. If you have chained your bicycle to the nets outside, you need to go remove it immediately, please.
Nielsen's pickoff move is unsuccessful. A dive back to first, and Leary is safe. 6-3 ball game here in the 6th. Finland leading. If they are to hold out and see this one through, they will join Greece on 2-1 for the second best record in the championship. As that one's in for a strike. And if that is to remain the case, that will make tomorrow's early game a crucial deciding match. The semifinal, as it were, to decide who will join Team Ireland in the final. Ireland 3-0, top of the table. They play Slovenia. They're through to the final already. It's just a question of will it be first or second place. Finland lost their game to Ireland, but bounced back with a tremendous extra innings defeat of Slovenia. A game where they really came back against the odds, conceded one in the top of the 10th, and then scored 2 to walk off and win it. And a hard hit foul ball down the right field line. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Katowski. Katowski is 1 for 3. He has reached on an error. He has scored twice. He has a double and an RBI to his name, and he has flied out to center field. Breaking ball doesn't find the zone. It's a ball, 2-2. Runner in motion. Swing and clobbered out to the outfield. Deep into left field. Benji Lawson can't get it. He loses it in the sun. And Timo Leary is going to attempt to score from first. He does. He was in motion before the pitch, so a good hit and run sees him score. RBI stand-up double for Timothy Katowski.
Now batting, center fielder, number 19, Timo Muro.
So Finland add to their lead. They are 7-3 up here with a runner on second base for Timo Muro, who is 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and a run scored and an RBI in 3 at-bats. And first pitch swinging. That one is deep. That one is back. That one is dropping into deep center. Katowski was tagging up at second base, but he is going to get home. He gets in on the RBI double from Timo Muro, and Finland are in danger of busting this one right open. Back-to-back RBI doubles.
Shortstop, number 18, Andres Mena.
Andres Mena is going to step up with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. Mena has a 2 RBI double and a run to his name. He is popped out and flied out, so he is 1 for 3. Mena started this game as pitcher and is now playing short. Nielsen is just going to confer with his infield. Eight to 3 now, your ball game. 2 runs have already scored. Nobody out in the top of the 6th. Andres Mena, right-handed hitting shortstop, is going to dig in against Alex Nielsen. That one's in the dirt, but well gloved, no advance. In the dirt, and again well blocked. Jaliet Alvarez is working hard back there. He is preventing any advance. That one is fouled right off his own ankle.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Someone has chained their bike to the cricket nets on the outside of the facility here. Ladies and gentlemen, those are not our nets. They need to be cut free so that they can practice out there. If you have chained your bikes out there, please go and unlock it.
So a runner in scoring position. Timo Muro sitting pretty at second. No outs after the RBI double. 1 of 2 in a row in this inning. And Mena watches that one for a ball in the dirt. Three balls, a strike, spin move. Just checks the runner back. Alec Nielsen on the mound in relief of Aiden Bluersha. Swing and a miss. Big swing and a miss at a high fastball, and that's going to fill the count 3-2. That one is hit on the ground. Out to third. No chance of a scoop on a bad throw. And the runners are going to hold up at second and third. So the speedy Andres Mena makes it all the way to second on an error. Charge to the third baseman, Chris Malsh.
Number 12, Yuka Kurvinen.
That is going to bring up Jukka Kurvinen, the big first baseman. 0 for 3. And the Finnish supporters in the crowd chant his name. They know the big man is due at this stage. He's proven in previous games that he can knock the skin off the ball. He's got 2 in scoring position with nobody out. And there it is on the ground to short. Torgerson is going to make the play. Oh, they missed the tag. Malsh diving, misses the tag. The run will score, and it's a fielder's choice with no out.
Now batting, the catcher, number 15, Jose Mesa.
So rather than taking the sure out at first, they know the run is going in, and Norway attempt to nail what would be the lead runner in the form of Andres Mena. But the tag is missed, and everybody's safe. The run comes in to score. It's 9-3. And Jose Mesa, the catcher, is going to dig in with runners at the corners. The runners are aboard on a fielder's choice and an error. Popped up, foul ground, deep back into the crowd, and out of play. And that one just gets Mesa in the back and will load the bases.
Now batting, third baseman, number 3, Jesse Bove.
Jesse Bove is going to come up with the bases loaded, and time is called. Norwegian manager is going to go out to Alec Nilsson. And yep, Nilsson's day is done. He fails to record an out here and is responsible for the 3 runs that came in. The error that allowed Andres Mena to get aboard will not be charged to him. So coming in out of the home bullpen is the reliever. So the new pitcher is Reynaldo Reyes. Reynaldo Reyes is a right-hander. He comes in relief of Alec Nilsson, who was unfortunately ineffective for Team Norway in his appearance. Team Norway send up another pitcher to the bullpen to get warm.
The Norwegian national team is putting into pitch number 24, Reynaldo Reyes.
So Nilsson and Reyes have both made their tournament debuts in this game. And the bases are loaded for Reyes. And Finland are in control here, 9-3 in the top of the 6th. With the bases loaded and still nobody out. They have scored 3 runs so far on 2 hits, 1 error, 1 walk. And this decent-sized crowd of neutral supporters is looking on at a Scandinavian derby that started out tight and has gotten a little out of hand, as Finland have leaped from 6-3 up to 9-3. So Jesse Bove is going to face the new pitcher, Reynaldo Reyes. And a nice cool breeze is tempering the hot temperatures. The Irish heat wave continues. Reynaldo Reyes goes to the windup with the bags juiced. His first pitch is in the dirt, but it's well blocked by Alvarez behind the dish. Ball 1 to Jesse Bove. And the infield is going to play in. Going to try and cut down the runner from third at home plate and get a force out at the dish. That one misses for a ball inside. It's 2-0 now to Jesse Bove. And there's nowhere to put him, so Norway going to want Reyes to bear down, get his strikes. That one misses above the letters. 3 balls and no strikes. That's in for a strike. Good fastball right down the pipe. Taken all the way, Bove on 3-0. He does not want to hit a weak ground ball and give up a run. But there's a pop-up. And that is going to be over the infield's heads, but... oh, no! Almost a tremendous play. Well, now, that one is going to work out as a ground out with a run scored. It is no catch, so it's Jesse Bove who should be safe at first at this stage, but Jesse Bove has departed.
33, Ville Sarma.
Okay, so now we know what's happened. The infield fly was called. The batter runner is out. And a run will score on that one. Andres Mena is going to come home. And an unearned run will be charged to Alec Nielsen. Infield fly was called. Oh, bad pickoff move is going to allow another run to score here. Jukka Kurvanen is going to come in handily. And Jose Mesa is going to skip up to second base. Ville Sarman is at the plate. So a little bit of confusion there, but the umpires had called infield fly as the bases were loaded. When there are runners on first and second with less than 2 outs and a pop-up is high and an infielder camps underneath it, although usually the infielder must be facing home plate, hence the confusion. Armando Rodriguez had his back to it, but certainly he was camped underneath the ball, so a decent call by the umpires. Infield fly it is. The batter runner is out. Runners are not forced to advance, but once it dropped in, some heads-up base running from Andres Mena allowed a run to score. Then on a botched pickoff move, another run is going to score. An error will be charged to the pitcher. And the long and the short of it is another 2 runs have scored for Norway. As that one misses inside. They have scored 6 in total in the inning. They've scored 5 in total in the inning, correction. And they now have an 11-3 lead. Sarman puts that one on the ground. He's going to throw over to first. Torgerson, and no, that one gets away, and it's a dead ball. Goes right through the dead ball fence. Sarman is going to be safe on yet another error tag to the unfortunate Stefan Torgerson. The run of Jose Mesa is going to score from second on the same play.
The left fielder, number 23.
It's going to bring up Tolpanen.
Tolpanen.
Olli Tolpanen has reached on an error, has struck out looking and grounded out. He is 0 for 3, but he has a run scored. And errors have been the story of the game here, as they have come back to haunt Norway in the worst possible way. That one a changeup goes in for a strike from Reyes. Not to take credit away from Finland, as that one is hit on the ground. The third baseman checks the runner. Fires a strike over to first base, and yet another throwing error is going to allow the runners aboard. So runners at second and third on the throwing error charged to Chris Malch. And Norway have batted, Finland rather, have batted around. Team O'Leary's going to come back up. He led off this inning with a walk and would score a run on the RBI double from Timothy Katowski, scoring all the way from first. That would be followed with a second RBI double in a row from Timo Muro, as Katowski would score. And that got the ball rolling. Andres Mena reached on an error. He would later score. Jukka Kurvinen reached on a fielder's choice with no out. He would later score on an error. Jose Mesa was hit by a pitch. He would score on a heads-up base running play on the infield fly as a swing and a miss from Leary is a strike. And then Vila Sarman sitting pretty at third base after reaching on an error. Olli Telpinen second. He reached on an error, so Norwegian fielding has really let them down. That is a bad pitch up and away for a ball, taken all the way. Swing and a miss. Another strike on Timo Leary. Ball in the dirt. He takes. It's a ball. And that one misses inside, ball 4. And the bags are juiced yet again. 2 walks in the inning for Timo Leary. It's going to bring up Timothy Katowski.
Number 6, Timothy Katowski.
Had that big, deep RBI 2-bagger early on in this very same inning, and it feels like this inning started a year ago. Norway have burned through Alec Nilsson in this one, and Reynaldo Reyes is in. He's got the only out so far on an infield fly. It was actually a challenging play for Rodriguez, but as he was camped underneath it, the umpires called infield fly and the runner was out. He fired a strike to second base, so had the play not been called, Jose Mesa would have been called out on a ground out, technically speaking. Confusing play, but sometimes baseball is a confusing game. That's part of the beauty of it. And if you want to find out more about baseball here in Ireland, visit baseballireland.com. We have a growing, expanding league here. We are looking to start new teams right across the country. We have people interested in recruiting new players in Athlone, in Cork, and right across the board. And of course the existing teams in Dublin and Greystones and Ashburn, Cavan Monaghan and Belfast are always looking to have people in. There's a good pitch for a strike. As a left-handed batting Katowski bites his lip. He knew that was a good one to hit. Katowski is 2 for 4. He has 3 runs scored. He's reached on an error, and he has 2 2-baggers. He has 2 RBIs to his name. And he shoots that one away, a foul ball. If you're just joining us, we're still here in the 6th inning at the International Baseball Center in Ashburn. This is Game 8 on Day 4 of the European Sea Pool Championships. Brought to you exclusively live on Baseball Ireland's Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. There's one on the ground. Torgerson to second for 1. No, another throwing error will allow a run to score. That one is off the fence. The ball will stay alive. So a run will score on an error. Charged to the second baseman. Katowski is safe at first.
Center fielder, number 19,
and the run scores.
Timo Muro.
From third and from second. So throwing errors have been the order of the day in the 6th inning for Norway. They had 3 errors coming into the 6th, and they have committed 5 in this inning alone, allowing 8 runs to score and giving up a 14-3 scoreline. This one was a tight, well-played ball game to that point. Finland were leading at 6-3 coming into the inning. Pickoff move. Katowski's back and safe. Katowski is safe at first base on a fielder's choice. He has an RBI, grounding out into a 6-4. An attempt at the double play. A run would score on a throwing error, but Katowski is stayed at first. So he has one ribby to his credit for that fielder's choice. There are 2 outs on the inning. And there's a fly ball to right field, and they were shading him left, so that is going to drop and roll all the way to the fence. Timo Muro has another double. He indeed will have another RBI here, as this one is going to score Katowski easily all the way from first. This one has been well and truly busted open. Another RBI two-bagger, and Timo Muro is now 5 for 5 with an incredible 4 doubles. He has 2 runs scored, and he has 3 runs batted in.
Number 18, Andres Mena.
And Ronaldo Reyes' day is done. Another call to the pen. Your Cork's call to the bullpen. Sees a pitching change for Norway, as Jonathan Whistler, young outfielder and pitcher, comes in.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for the Norwegian national team, number 12, Jonathan Whistler.
No. You? I know that he dissipated his name. Huh? I don't even remember his name. So 15-3 ball game here. A monster. 9 runs have scored in the 6th inning, in the top of the 6th for Finland. Norway have gone to the pen for a 3rd time. Jonathan Whistler in relief of Ronaldo Reyes, who in turn was in relief of Alec Nielsen. Reyes at least was semi-effective in getting 2 outs, but errors have been the order of the day. Whistler comes up. First pitch, swinging, popped up high on the infield. Fjellvang will not make the play. It falls in. That is another fielding error. And in will come Timo Muro to score from second. He was in motion on contact. So Andres Mena safe at first base on that error by the first baseman Emil Fjellvang. That's going to bring up Jukka Kurvinen.
Number 12, Jukka Kurvinen.
Jukka Kurvinen is 0 for 4. He reached on a fielder's choice and would later score, so he has 1 run to his credit. That one's in the dirt, getting away. Mena is all the way to second base on a wild pitch. Incredibly, the first one allowed in the game by Javier Alvarez. 10 runs have now scored on the inning. And the scoreboard will look a little crooked, all right. There's a line drive into right field, and again they're shading him to his pull field. He goes to opposite field. The run will score very easily, and there is another RBI double. This one for Jukka Kurvinen as he finally gets the bat working. Andres Mena scores easily.
Now batting
from second.
catcher, number 15.
And up comes the catcher, Jose Mesa. 11 runs score on the inning. That one's up and away for a ball. That one misses. Ball 2. If you're just joining us for our broadcast here from the International Baseball Center, this one just got ugly in the 6th. The well-played ball game up to that point had seen Finland leap into a 6-3 lead, but this one has just gotten sloppy. Too many errors. Almost too many to count. Certainly too many runs to count. 11 in on the inning. 17-3 the score here. Ball 4 is issued to Mesa, and he is aboard. With a base on balls, and at least that will give Norway a force at any base in the infield. Jesse Bove is going to come up.
Third baseman number 3, Jesse Bove.
He was the first out of the inning on an infield fly call to the second baseman, Armando Rodriguez. The ball dropped and a run scored, but the call had been made. Runners are in motion as that one is a wild pitch all the way to the wall, and they go to second and third, and the force is removed. There's a line drive right back up the middle. 1 run scores. The second run will score, and it's a 2 RBI single for Jesse Bove. And this has been a devastating collapse by Norway.
Ville Sarman.
Ville Sarman is going to come in. He is 0 for 4, has reached on an error and has scored. He reached on an error by the shortstop, made it to third on an error by the third baseman, and scored on an error by the second baseman. No, Ville Sarman is... Ville Sarman is out of the game, actually. It's going to be Jan Glue who's going to come in his place. And not surprising that Ville Sarman is out of the game. He was the pitcher of record going into this, and it has been such an extended
now
one.
batting in place of Ville Sarman, number 11, Tapio Harkinen.
In correction, that's Tapio Parkkinen wearing number 11. He hits that one to the first baseman, flips to the pitcher covering, and oh no, he's safe. He beats it out for an infield single. The runner will advance to third on the play. And just when you thought this couldn't get any worse for the Norwegians, that happens.
Left fielder number 23, Olli Tolpanen.
Olli Tolpanen is going to come up for his second at-bat of the inning. He reached on an error and would score on an error all the way from second. Swing and a miss. That's up and away for a ball. (19-3) your ball game, as one-sided an affair as you can get, but it wasn't always that way. This was a tight game until this very inning. In for a strike at the knees. Runners at the corners. 2 outs. That's a foul ball. A 16-run lead. It was a 3-run lead at the start of the inning, which by my estimation was about 25 years ago. Up and away for a ball. There it is on the ground. Foul ball. Finland have 6 hits so far in the inning. There's a line drive and another base hit, make it 7. And another run will come in. And we're up to 20 runs in here. An RBI single for Olli Tolppanen. And that is going to bring back up for the 3rd time in this inning. Timo. No, it won't be Timo Leary. We're going to go to a pinch hitter. Timo Leary will be replaced by number 1, Toivo Aaltonen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now batting in place of Timo Leary, number 1, Toivo Aaltonen.
So Toivo Aaltonen is going to step in. 14 runs in on the inning. We are 20 runs to 3 here. Runners at first and second and 2 away. We've seen 3 base hits in a row. That's in for a strike. Really good pitch from Whistler. Really good fastball right across at the knees. Aaltonen wanted no part of it. That one's up and away for a ball. So this game 8 of our European Sea Pool Championship qualifying tournament here, has just gotten ugly. It's just gotten uncompetitive and it's gotten ugly, and Finland are completely and totally in control here. But the real story of the inning has been the multiple errors committed by Norway in this inning alone. They had 3 errors over the whole game coming into the 6th, and they have... I mean, there's a walk to load the bases as Whistler loses Toivo Aaltonen.
Now batting, right fielder, number 6, Timothy Kotowski.
And up comes Kotowski. He's 1 for 2 in this inning alone with 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. He reached on a fielder's choice. Got an RBI for that one, had an RBI double. He also has 2 more runs scored beyond that and an RBI double to his name. And a line drive up the middle and a base hit and a run will score and a second run will score and a bad throw will not lead to a 3rd run scoring. But 2 runs are in. As Timothy Kotowski
Center fielder, number
has a
19,
2 RBI
Timo Muro.
single. Runners at the corners for Timo Muro. Timo Muro having an incredible game. He is 5 for 5 with an incredible 4 doubles, 3 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. He watches that one in the dirt. 22-3 your ball game here. 16 runs put up in the top of the 6th so far. 2 outs. Muro swinging at that one. It's a foul ball. On the ground, foul ball. Just the wrong side of the 3rd base bag. That's in for a strike. Strike 2 on Timo Muro. No, strike 3 call, Timo Muro. Oh my goodness. We'd forgotten what a strikeout looked like.
Number 18, Andres Mena.
The side is retired, finally. Oh, goodness me. A 16 runs score on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hits.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may remember me calling out about a bike that was chained up to the cricket field.
5,
I'd like a round of applause.
6 errors. I've lost count. I've lost count of the walks. That was just incredible, incredible stuff, and I don't mean by any stretch of the imagination in a good way. Finland in control, 22-3, looking to close it out in the bottom of the 6th right after this. So welcome back to our ball game. Finland jumped out to a commanding lead with a 16-run monster of a 6th inning. Sloppy defense from Norway. Poor pitching, poor execution allowed them to take a very commanding lead here, and they want to close it out in the bottom of the 6th. Brand new pitcher, Marco Nygaard. And as they went into the order a third time, it's not surprising. Vilas Arman was replaced by Tapio Parkkinen, and he is in turn replaced by the pitcher, Marco Nygaard. So Madsen is into bat. That's in the dirt. There's a line drive, and oh, Norway, there's life in the old dog yet. Base hit to lead off the inning from the sting in the tail. Johan Madsen, that's going to bring up
28, Casper McWilliam.
Pinch hitter. Casper McWilliam is in the DH spot in place of Andy Johnson. Runner in motion. The throw is wide, and Madsen is going to have a stolen base. A very unorthodox decision. Chasing 19 runs. The bottom of the sixth, they send him, but hey, way to go, kid. Stolen base. Add that to the stats. Casper McWilliam has appeared from the bench in Norway's 2 games to date. He's here as a pinch hitter in his 3rd game in the European Championships. It's in for a strike. McWilliam shakes his head. He knows he had a good pitch to hit on that one. The man he replaced, Andy Johnson, is coaching him at third base. Told him he should have pulled the trigger on that one. He's got a runner in scoring position after the stolen base. He clobbers that one out to right field, and it's going to fall in. McWilliam was tagging, so he is going to pull up. Madsen, rather, was tagging. He's going to pull up at third base. Solid base hit. Out to right field for Casper McWilliam. Back-to-back hits.
Number 26, Erik Bjornsson.
All they need is another 20 hits. They'll be right back in this ball game. Replacing Joliet Alvarez is a pinch hitter with runners at the corners. It's going to be Erik Bjornsson. As Norway are emptying the bench now, just getting their guys some hacks. That's up high for a ball. A ball and a strike to Bjornsson. That's in for a strike. 1-2. Swing and a foul ball to hang in there at the plate. And Norway are going to be forced to hang tough here to try and get themselves back into this game. They're chasing 19 runs. They've runs at the corners. Whatever situation baseball throws at you, Baden Sports has got the equipment for you. Baden Sports for baseball, softball, and plenty of others. Strike 3 called. And Finland get an out. Erik Bjornsson strikes out looking. It's going to bring up Stefan Torgerson, the shortstop.
Now batting, shortstop, number 32, Stefan Torgerson.
Torgerson is 1 for 2 with a walk. He has a run scored. He singled in the 3rd. Flew out in the 4th. He was walked in the 1st and has a stolen base to his name. He's demonstrated himself to be a fine young player over the course of the tournament, but has let himself down with several errors coming into this one. Just a bad defensive top half of the inning for Norway. That one is clipped foul. Up and away for a ball. Barometer dropping here at the International Baseball Center at Ashburn. What started out as a scorcher, 21 degrees Celsius, 70 Fahrenheit, has dropped now. Heavy clouds moving in. And that's a foul ball. High off the backstop net. Shot to the outfield, to center field where Muro will make the grab. Tagging is Madsen. The throw is cut off by the pitcher to prevent a first base advance, and it's a sacrifice fly. And the second out of the inning. Torgerson has an RBI to his name. There's 2 away with a runner at first now for big Chris Malsh. Malsh is 1 for 1. He was hit by a pitch and he was put on board intentionally. He has a run scored as well on his double in the third. That one misses inside. The Finnish fans in the crowd are singing. They know the Finland are 1 out from victory. 22-4 is the scoreline. That's a foul ball. It's going to force the stealing runner, Casper McWilliam, to retreat to first base. And of course, I have no idea what the Finns are singing. It's in Finnish, one of the oldest and most unique Indo-European languages. Along with Hungarian and Basque, Finnish is one of only 3 European languages that has no relation to any other Indo-European language. Known as an orphan in the great tree of languages by sociolinguists. Finland, of course, also home to a sizable Swedish-speaking minority, and Swedish is a second official language in Suomi, the Republic of Finland. They're trying to close this one out with Malsh at the plate. That one misses below the knees. It's a pitch that Nygaard wants, but he doesn't get. 3 balls and 1 strike to Chris Malsh. Swing and a miss. So now, Finland 1 strike away from victory. 3 balls and 2 strike. Nygaard from the stretch. Malsh at the plate. He looks in, gets his sign. The payoff pitch, as the Finnish fans sing, is a ball. Ball 4, and there's runners at first and second, and this game just won't die.
Now batting, second baseman.
It's going to bring up the second baseman, Armando Rodriguez. Rodriguez is 1 for 3. He's popped out and grounded out. He's a 2 RBI single, a clutch hit for Norway in the 3rd inning to put them right back into this game, but what do you know? The 6th inning put them right back out of it. 16-run 6th inning for Finland. That one is high. It's a ball. There's a pop-up. Sky high. Mena makes the catch. And the ball game is over. Finland win this one on a scoreline of 22-4. They have clobbered the stink out of their Scandinavian brethren.
Ladies
and gentlemen, this one got out of hand. It got messy. Thanks for being with us. This was brought to you by Foley's New York Bar and Grill, home of the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame. Exclusively live on Baseball Ireland. We're going to have some good games for you tomorrow.
And that's our day, ladies and gentlemen.
We got Finland, Greece, we got Ireland, Slovenia, 12:30, 5:30. Join us here on Baseball Ireland. I've been Pete Cavanaugh. My thanks to Joe Zephyrin, who produced and directed. We'll be with you tomorrow. Until then, safe travels. Iowa.